Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. Apologies for what happened in the same stream literally 10 minutes ago. We had like a mini crash. My apologies on that one. There's a little bit of a fuse switch that happened right here, which caused it. My apologies once more. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Of course, as I said to you, today's a bit of a special stream. You guys know sometimes I like to branch out a little bit and discuss topics that may not be related to Chelsea 100%, but have some level of relation, and that's one of these topics here. So, as always, I've got my fellow co-host here with me today, a fellow Ahmed Nation as well. Big up to him, which we're going to be discussing and more. And obviously, let's bring on my host, Bish, Bash, and then Bong. Big up to you, Ahmed, bro. How you doing? How are you feeling today? Hope you're having a wonderful day, my brother. You're on mute. Nope. Unless my ears are cooked. No, the 100%.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now, my brother.
Listen, big up, man, for having me on. Listen, bro, I don't know what's going on today. Internet's going down, flipping, my mic's bugging out. This is what United does to people, bro. They stress me out.
That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, I think we know why we're all here today. Obviously, the reason why I am doing this topic is partially because of the fact that, I like to think about myself as a football savant, someone that likes to watch football, loves the sport, watches it on a consistent basis. And obviously, when you're looking at one of your own rivals within the EPL as a Manchester United, it's not been looking good for these guys for quite a while in time. And the reason why I want to have this discussion is really on really just to get your opinion on the situation so far, why you think what's happening is happening, and how would you really solve it? I think is more so the question I've got to ask. But talk to me, bro. Obviously, it's looking like now, it's been stated, it's been reported that he's going to be staying. How do you feel about that?
Bro, I'll be honest, yeah. This whole thing about Ten Hag and the manager, especially with the ownership here and how they're trying to navigate through this, it just shows that these lot are too scared to actually pull the trigger, and they're really scared about how fans are going to react, because any logical owner, yeah, with the brain cell would have sacked this guy even after the FA Cup. Even after that FA Cup win, yeah, because when you want to judge a manager, yeah, you don't judge them on what they do in one game. You judge them throughout the whole season and on a consistent basis, yeah. Now, what have we seen with Ten Hag consistently? Poor manager, cannot coach, especially when he's in interviews. He says some of the most illogical and very, very stubborn things I've heard, such as like, we played very, very well. We have a plan. We have a plan. He says the same rehearsed things every single time. Now, on the pitch here, when he's coaching, genuinely, he has no personality. So with players, how you can be a good tactician, right? But you have to actually want to play for the manager, in it. Like you have to. These players, yeah, you need to be able to motivate them. With Ten Hag, I'm looking at it from the outside looking in. It seems to me that he has nothing about him. Like there's nothing interesting about him. Like for example, remember when we seen Liverpool with Klopp? He's not this tiki-taka Pep Guardiola type manager, but you know what it is? He's got a personality. Why do you think the media like him so much and like they talk highly of him? It's the way he perceives, it's the way he speaks, it's the way it's just a character in it. And the players, every Liverpool player wanted to play for him. Now, Ineos, yeah, for as much good as they've done, yeah, this season in terms of buying players, I actually just think overall, objectively speaking, that they've just done what any well-run club should be doing in terms of buying players. Because we've had the Glazers for so long and the bars in hell, I think we overhyped their appointments a little bit. I think not even a little bit. I think we overhyped them quite a lot. And I fall on this as well. I'll fall on this, yeah. I don't mind admitting, like for example, Ahmed, you overgassed it there. Obviously, when we signed Euro, when we signed Thingy, we signed Xerxes, I was excited with those appointments, but in the back of my mind, I was like, bro, like they're good players, but can I really get excited when the manager's still here? It kind of kills the buzz, doesn't it? It kills the buzz. So
I get what you mean.
I honestly think that Chelsea dodged the bullet, with Ineos. I think you lot dodged the bullet because
he came in way too late. That was the thing with Ineos. They came in way too late. They came in once like we were about to choose the final guy. It was between two people. Then he decided like he could like come in last minute to do something. But like I think for me, Ineos, what are they doing right now? In the sense that yes, are they? I think they're doing the right approach in terms of bringing younger players because I think that's probably what is needed right now. That's probably the necessary thing. Whether people want to admit or not, that's literally what you guys need right now. Point blank, period. I think you would agree with that too, because we're like, whether we like or not, United need a reset. We need a reset at that time, and like I think for me that was probably needed. Like, and I think Ineos did at least a smarter job in realizing that. Oh my god, it could be 2-0,
Yeah.
Oh, he's stupid. But like I think for me, like the issue has been with Ineos is that they haven't been able to maybe be a bit more ruthless enough and move on some of the guys that needed to be moved on. I think that's probably where I would look at Ineos and be like, did you need to extend Bruno Fernandes, for example? Did you need to? Is Rashford necessary for like you to have another season of him? Does that make sense, bro?
100%. Bruno Fernandes, yeah, should have been shipped.
Last season was probably Bruno's highest in terms of like stock level, in my personal opinion. Maybe the season before could be another argument, but in my personal opinion, his stock level was like the highest ever been, probably last season. In my personal opinion, honestly, like you would be getting money for that one, guaranteed.
Bro, but with Bruno, yeah, like I've never been a big fan of Bruno as a player, right? But the thing is that we should have moved on from him last summer, and we should have moved on from the manager. You know what United should have done, and you know what Ineos should have done if they wanted to go in the right direction, yeah? Is you let go of Bruno Fernandes, do not give him an extension, and you sign a new manager. You get a new manager, sorry. Let's say, for instance, that we got De Zerbi, right, from Brighton, because you guys were looking at him, you then got Maresca. Had we got De Zerbi, yeah, Bruno was gone. We got a fresh start, and I'm pretty sure the players, most of them, yeah, they expected the manager to leave. They expected him to leave. So they were hoping in their mind, like, you know what, fresh start, let's go. So when he came back, it's like it kind of killed the buzz. You know that teacher in school, by the way, you're thinking, get in. He's gone now, and you get that same teacher again. Like,
I guess.
Bro, how many times did we get gassed by the way?
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah. So
You know, but like the issue for me has always been there. Like I think the point you made, for example, like with Bruno, it's like realistically, you know, if whenever a new ownership comes in, they're gonna want their man, right? Whoever
yeah.
that's their manager, their own new players, yeah. And I feel like for me, that's something that should have happened long time ago. They should have made that decision straight away. Like the issue that we had at Chelsea was that they obviously brought in some players to help the gaffer, but they probably wanted to bring in their own man, but Tuchel was well beloved, for example, right, in that period of time. But
100%, yeah.
and then like you know they had to bring in Potter quite late, who was the guy apparently they'd be looking at, and then obviously you know you see what's happened since.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with you as well because, like, with people don't realize that how much a manager can make a difference to a club yet, despite not being in the best environment. Because we've seen, like, for example, with Chelsea, yeah, like you guys spend a lot of money, which is a good thing in it because you guys are trying to like for as much mistakes that you guys might make, you're always trying to rectify it. Always trying to rectify it. You know, get new players and get new manager. Yeah, what you did with Pochettino. What Chelsea did with Pochettino is exactly what we should have done with Ten Hag. Exactly what we should have done because you know what it is with Poch. He went on like he finished off the season quite well, like in terms of form wise. But Chelsea looked and we're like, you know what, bum this Poch guy. You know, let me move on to a next guy in Maresca. And the change of manager, look how he's got you playing. Yes, it's early in the season, yeah, but it shows you what happens when you get the right profile of a manager that suits like these players. Because you guys have a lot of quality, like technically as well in the team.
The issue was, and I've said this before, bro, yeah, and I've said this many a time at Chelsea. You know, the one thing I always give like kind of like credit for is that you could see it all season that they brought in the wrong manager, yeah, for the players, like, because we had technical players for a manager that played a running style of play, like you know what I mean. You need legs, right? If that makes sense. And so for me, it's almost like you got two opposites, and they don't attract.
Yeah. 100%.
Really as simple as that.
Well,
and like I think, go ahead, bro. No, I'll let you finish. No, honestly, because I was talking about the Chelsea aspect anyway. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, like if I look at all the managers we've hired, yeah, post Fergie as well, like you started off with Van Gaal. We all know Van Gaal likes his possession-based football. He likes to retain possession. People thought it was boring. I personally thought that Van Gaal was he backed more and we gave him more time, yeah, he would have challenged with United. Honestly, I do believe that because the plays that he had at his disposal, yeah, is awful. Like the plays he had was really bad. So, and then you go to Mourinho, who's a really short-term manager, win now type of guy. But we had a young squad. We needed a coach. Like we needed someone to improve these players. Now you go get Oli, who's not really.
It's 2-0, by the way.
Is it 2-0? Oh my
God. Yeah, Ruiz scored 2-0. Crazy, but sorry, bro, but like I think you know the point you were making. Let's actually stick with this, both Van Gaal and Mourinho. Yeah, they were complete opposite in tactics.
Yeah,
one's possession based, like the other guy is extremely defensive. You know what I mean? He's extremely defensive. Likes his team to work without the ball. You know what I mean? You know, even though yes, he was playing when we sort of Inter. You see that with Chelsea, he's taking his second reign, and so it brings the question up, yeah, again, like, you know, it's like the sporting director at the time obviously was Ed Woodward, right? So therefore, if you know what I mean, like obviously, like I get that he wasn't a footballer, man, a guy that had like the actual footballing ideas to make stuff happen. But like you have to question those two, like when those two happen. And then Oli was almost like a bit of both, in my personal opinion, when he came in. He was a bit of Mourinho in terms of the defensive type of thing, and then he was almost like he was also like the possession-based thing about holding the stuff in as well. If that makes sense.
I think with Oli, I don't think Oli was like ever possession-based. I think Oli wanted to play the United way, but I think that's how he wanted to play, bro. Like the way how Fergie wanted to play. But what he fails to realize here is that even though we had amazing plays, you have to be an extremely good man manager, and Oli was not that. He wasn't either. He wasn't a good coach, and he wasn't a good manager. He just had. The problem is that because we were with Mourinho for so long and it was getting so toxic, bringing in Oli as the interim period was a good decision because we just needed some like positive change for that moment. Giving him the long-term contract, was the biggest mistake we could have done. We could have done, right? Huge mistake. Because if you look at his football and Ten Hag and Mourinho, they're all essentially the same. They're all the same, bro. We've been playing counter-attacking football, for when did we sign Mourinho? Was it 2026?
2017, no?
8 years we've been playing counter-attacking football, and people wonder why players like Sancho and players like Martial, players like Pogba, players like, talented players, and that we've just look at Kobe right now, bro. Ahmed, Kobe, I'm watching him, he's dying out there, bro. He's dying.
He's getting run through the mud. He's getting run through the mud. I'm telling you, that's, I think, something that I think a lot of United, I don't know if a lot of United fans are saying this, but I've said this before. He's getting run through the mud, honestly. And the thing is, the other issue you have to worry about Kobe, even though, yes, he's getting run through the mud, that's like a big thing. Progression. You know what I mean? You don't want him to end up like what happened to Rashford, where he has not progressed as a player. And he's the same, you know what I mean? Yes. I like, and you don't want him to stagnate. You know what I mean? You don't want him to be the same player that he was 10 years ago.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. I agree.
And that is the worry if you're him. You know what I mean? Same thing you could, if Amad Diallo, for example, signs a new contract, for example. I know you're a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of his as well, right? You don't want Amad to be the same guy that he was now in 2022 as he is, 2024, sorry, as he is in 2034. Right? And that is, I like, this is where, for me, one of the things that I've always spoken about, at least currently with United is United right now is not a place for youngsters to develop in. You know what I mean? The one thing I've said about Chelsea is that yes, Pochettino was a crap manager, but at least there were players, some of our young players developed under him. Madueke defensively developed under him in terms of defensive stuff. Palmer, you saw how he was doing really well so far. Gusto really developed defensively under him. Because if you watched him in League and what he was defensively and how he was under Pochettino, he literally became a lot better of a defender than him. That's something I will give credit for. Another guy that he probably, Jackson, the way he's played right now, obviously as of currently, it's another one. 1-1. What a goal by Bellingham. Big up to him. But yeah, man. But like, do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, there was development that's occurring. Even now, you look at obviously Maresca, Renato Vega, he's looking like a guy that's developing for the team, right? Another guy that I would probably make the argument for that's looking like he's developing as well. Madueke again, decision maker wise, he's looking a lot better than he was than he's done at Pochettino. So you can see that the manager's developing the younger lads at the very least, if that makes sense.
Pochettino, despite his tactics, which is really strange with Poch, because you don't really associate Pochettino with playing such a negative way or just very like rock and roll football in it, because at Tottenham his football was a bit different, but with him at least he was likable. At least he was a good manager. He had that on his side. With Ten Hag, he doesn't excel in either department. He doesn't excel in anything. The way he speaks, he doesn't speak well, doesn't coach well, doesn't really communicate well. I think he's got every manager has an ego, but this guy, Ahmed, I swear to you, he's the pettiest guy. He is so petty, right? He will be as a player, he'll be your best friend, and then he'll just like get rid of you. Because there was a time where Eriksen wasn't playing, right? He wasn't playing. Comes back in the team, he starts being one of our better midfielders, and he does really well. And do you know what happens? He drops him, and he keeps Bruno. Honestly, Bruno Fernandes, he's been shocking for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Honestly, Bruno. The last time I saw Bruno have a half decent season was when he first came in. Was when he first came in. Yeah. Other than that, he's been abysmal. He's been abysmal to watch. Like, when you have him in your main team, especially when you make him captain, you can only play a certain way, and that's not going to be able to retain the ball, play from the back, start attacking teams, breaking them down. It's very much just keep the defense compact and just hit them on the break. Bruno, get the ball, whack it to Rashford or Garnacho. That's the tactic, That's actually the tactic. There's nothing to get excited about. And people were laughing at me saying, when I said I'm not going to watch the games like that. I'm just going to have it on the side, but I'm not going to concentrate, because if the ownership aren't ready to do what's necessary and needed to get rid of him then, bro, we're sat like 16th or 14th in the league. and every rival, yeah, is saying,
Oh, Madueke almost scored. Damn. But the issue is. Sorry, I have on my player, but like,
sorry.
the issue is, yeah, I'm gonna start obviously with what your mention of Ten Hag, like the way his man management style, and then I'm gonna
Yeah,
kind of go into like obviously why he's still here. I think for me, there's actually two reasons in my personal opinion, right? So I think the one thing I always talk about, yeah, is that listen, I think in this day and age, we all know, yeah, that tactics is important. I think you agree with it. I agree with it. Like, listen, system now sadly trumps the players. Like, you know what I mean? I know that. Listen, I grew up in an era. You grew up in an era of individual brilliance, bro. We had players who were, for lack of a better word, special players in their position. If that makes sense, like they
yeah,
could create stuff out of nothing. I always say, like, I feel like we've kind of grown up in the golden era of
yeah,
football, at least in the early to like mid 2000, mid 2010s. Like that whole era was like, I think, almost like the golden era. Like that late, I would say 80s to like mid 2010s has been a
mm,
golden era for us. Like this era, I think part of it is kind of on Pep. I have to say, I don't care what Bruno says, but Pep has kind of helped, kind of what, in my personal opinion, hurt football a lot more than I think people have realized. In my personal opinion, in terms of what he's done, in terms of the way he's basically made football into like almost like an engineering thing, if that makes sense, which has been problematic in my personal opinion. But you know, borrowing the system, the main thing, in any manager, whether you look at in any sport, football, basketball, NFL, and NHL, whatever you want to call it, rugby, tennis, right? The biggest thing a manager needs to have is what? Man management, bro. You know what I mean? The thing I always talk about, yeah, Mourinho is a great example, by the way, yeah, of this argument I'm about to make. Mourinho, when he was at Porto, when he was at Chelsea, when he was even at Inter Milan, yeah, those three teams, yeah, I'm gonna give you an example. Like, he had players who are willing to run for him. You know what I mean? He had players who believed in him. You had players that were believed in the system, were willing to run through bricks. I always say, like, listen to John Omikar podcast. Like, you were here, John Terry, for example, tell you I was willing to run through bricks for him. Petr Cech believed in his ideology. All of the Drogba, Lampard, these guys all believed in it. Say if you can make the argument of even Alex Ferguson, right? In terms of his man management style, right? And the way he was able to handle his teams, handle his players, and like a good example of this in our modern day with a guy that's tactics is pretty, I would say, average, not good enough. Even though he's my favorite manager that we've ever had at Chelsea, Ancelotti is a good example of this. His tactics are pretty average. You know what I mean? They're not revolutionary. They're not changing the game. But you know what he did? Yeah, you know what he's good at though? The man management school. Like, I've heard so many of like former Chelsea players in that 09, 010, 010 to 011 era, yeah, who have spoken so well about him, yeah, in terms of his man management style. Oh, this guy used to come for my birthdays. He just, he'd sit me down, we have a nice little chat. It was almost like a father figure to me. Like when you hear that sort of thing outright, that for me basically, it really shows you, in my personal opinion, just how important it is, like that connection between manager to player.
yeah,
Even Pochettino, I give him credit. Yeah, what I give Pochettino credit for is that he had the man management for the play. The players would fight for him. You know what I mean? The players loved him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for all of his inadequacies, system-wise and tactic-wise, which was getting caught out. The one thing you cannot deny is that the players believed in him. You know what I mean? The players are willing to run for him, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure you would agree with that, right, Ahmed?
I would say, I don't think the reason why it went down the drain because like they didn't
Oh,
believe
Greece equalizer! Greece 2-1! No way! 3 minutes
they
into added time. They did it, bro. No, that is insane, by the way. Oh my god.
Oh my days!
Wow,
Holy,
wow, but like, you know, do you get what I'm saying? To like, obviously, like, let's go back quickly to obviously Oli. Do you not think Oli's man management was what was helping him?
I think Oli. I don't think Oli was a good man management because like there was a lot of players that he was playing through injuries and just like he didn't
But do you
really.
not think that was? Do you not think that was because not maybe? Yes, they were playing through injury, right? But like, do you not think that's partially because of the fact that maybe they were willing to play through the injuries for him? Sometimes, bro, players that the fact that the players are willing to play through injury for him clearly shows that his man management style and everything like that was always, was it called had the man management style, no?
I think with him, yeah, if you were to put two on a scale on which one was higher, the coach or the man management, obviously his man management was probably his biggest strength because he's a likable guy. He's very likable. I don't think the reason why it went. Yeah, go
Go
on.
ahead, bro. No, because I was making the point that, for example, look at the way Rashford was playing through injury for him, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, man, I think
Martial as
one of
well through injury.
yeah,
Well,
bro. You know what I mean? Like McTominay, bro. I know McTominay was running through bricks for that, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh my god,
Pogba
no.
was bro. Even but you know what it is? The players.
Mm,
The reason why Ollie got sacked is not because the players didn't want to play for him. It's because Ollie, there was only so much he can do in terms of like. The thing is, yeah,
yes.
it's like,
No, but the point I was just making with Ollie is just that the reason why he stayed so long was basically because of his man management, if that makes sense, right?
yeah,
His thing was his man management, right? I've said
yeah,
as I said to you before, I made the Ancelotti point.
yeah.
Mourinho, yeah, the reason why I brought up Mourinho quickly, because like Mourinho is a great example of like he was so elite in his man management, yeah, at Chelsea, and look what it got him. Inter Milan, look what it got him. Porto before he came to Chelsea, look what it got him. It was when he went to Real Madrid. I don't know what happened at Real Madrid. I always say, whatever happened at Real Madrid, it scarred Mourinho for life. He was never able to come back from what happened to Real Madrid. But at Chelsea, you saw the way he denigrated, bro. The players down tools on him. That's never happened before, by the way, right? Even though, like, yeah, I absolutely condone that sort of stuff happening. But the players down tool for my guy Mourinho, and like a lot of that had to do with his man management skills at the time, right? He then came to you guys. You know, yes, he had a good first, second season. Some of the stuff happened, but you know what happened again? Denigration because of man management skills happened there as well. He then goes on to Tottenham. The man management again lets him down, if that makes sense, right? So do you see what I'm saying to you? Like once he lost his ability to connect with players, yeah, his tactics faltered essentially because you need to have both, right? And I think with me, Ten Hag, the first season you saw the players for some his man management was working in the first season because the players are willing to run through bricks for him. The players believed in him. The players were willing to do what was necessary to make things happen right in the first season because like you saw what they were doing. They were playing 3 days a week essentially for you guys in the
Yeah.
first season. But now you see it, and you look at it now, and it's like, you know, why has he lost that ability? What's happened between him and the players for him to happen for stuff like that to happen to him? If that makes sense, Ahmed.
I
What do you
think
think there's?
I think what happened is that like before Ten Hag, it was Ralph, wasn't it? It was Ralph, yeah, and it
Mm-hmm,
wasn't really going well. And the reason why we didn't do well is not because Ralph wasn't great. Yeah, it's just he came in halfway through the season and he didn't have a preseason. So obviously we weren't doing well under Ralph. We got a new manager
mm-hmm,
in Ten Hag, fresh ideas. So I think there was going to be a natural bounce in it. Because that first season we lost the first 2 games. He tried to play his style. He completely changed it to. I think his first season, yeah, is a bit overrated, in my opinion, yeah. Because and I'll tell you why is that Rashford. People got to understand that Rashford was playing on a mad one. He was moving mad. Casemiro came in and made a huge difference. Lissandro's first season was very good. I think them 3 players, yeah, massively carried Ten Hag that season. And after we won that Carabao Cup, Ahmed, we've
mm-hmm.
been shit ever since. Yeah. Sorry for swearing, yeah. But we have literally been awful, yeah, after that Carabao Cup. Yeah. So people
Mm-hmm.
saying, oh, why are we playing so bad? Bro, we've been playing bad for over a year and a half now. Like the last game I saw us play where we dominated and we played really well is remember when Ronaldo walked away, but when we won 1-0, 1 or 2-0 against Tottenham.
Yes, I remember that game. Yes.
That was the only convincing win and convincing performance I've seen us play under this manager, and where I actually thoroughly enjoyed. And that was his first season, and now we're pushing into our third one. Do you know how long ago that was? Like, it's crazy to me. Now, with the managers these days, yeah, you can't just be an elite coach and then have no personality. You can't just be a top manager, but honestly, it's who I think is the perfect manager, yeah, for United. And people will laugh here, but I think Ange. I think he's got. I think Ange is a very good suit for United. Not because I think he's going to win us Premier Leagues and Champions League, but for where we need to get right now and where we are at a stage. Because people are saying Tuchel. Well, forget Tuchel, man. I don't want Tuchel.
Listen. We'll get to Tuchel, man. I think Tuchel is not the right move. By the way, actually, I'm going to tell you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why later on because it's actually related to what we're talking about right now. Is as to why I believe Tuchel's not the right option for you guys, in my personal opinion. But you were saying obviously Ange, and I think Ange is a good manager. I always say this before. I think at Spurs, you know what's letting him down? I just think the club itself is a big problem. You know, a lot of people don't want to say it like this. Like the mentality of that club, bro. Like, you know, the fact that he's got these guys cooking, but it's just the play that he's got. You
He's
know, I
got
feel
Brennan
like if
Johnson scoring goals.
you know what I mean. You know, you can't listen. Like, you cannot, like, you know, disregard that fact. And I think for me, if you know, he went to a club that was willing to back him, that was willing to give him, you know, the
Yeah.
materials, that the right players for his system, who are of a much better level, his thing works like a trick. By the way, his thing would work like a trick, bro. It
You
would
know
be doing
why I like
wonders.
him as well? You know what I think
Mhm.
you know why I think he'll be such a good fit to United, yeah, is that
His attitude is good,
his
isn't it?
personality, bro. His personality.
Yes,
What
I respect that. I like that
like you
about him,
said,
by the way. Hmm.
there was a YouTube clip where an interviewer was asking about Maddison, and he was talking about how Ange, by the way, the way Maddison, he was like, oh, he's such a great guy, and like, you know, he's angry when he needs to get angry, but he's there when you like. He spoke so highly, yeah, of
Hmm.
Ange, and I think with him is that he's got a good balance of being a good tactician in terms of like playing a good style of play and being a good manager. Because bro, when you hear Ange speak, yeah, you don't think of it like he's being delusional. You're like, yeah, he's actually got a point. Of course, of course, us rivals are gonna take the piss. Like, oh, look at it. Good day, mate. Good day, mate. Like, everyone's gonna take the piss. But if we actually speak objectively, yeah,
Hmm.
if he had this current United team, I'm not saying we're gonna win the title, but I would say we would at least get top 4. Because bro, Brennan Johnson's not a good player. He's got him scoring 5 goals now, I think, in the past 4 games or something. I don't know the stats. He's got Richarlison back. He had Richarlison back in last season. This Tottenham team ain't the greatest. Obviously, Van der Ven's doing well. Romero's looking good. His fullbacks are decent. I just genuinely think that with him, he's a very good fit. And plus, he's not like inexperienced.
Hmm.
Like, he's in his 50s and he's already got that Prem experience. People say Tuchel, forget about Tuchel for a sec, but with Thomas Frank, yeah, I know someone said Thomas Frank, but I think he's good. But I don't know if he's like, I don't think he's got that personality for United.
The problem with me with Thomas Frank, yeah, I think Thomas Frank might actually. He's like a, you know, the problem with Thomas Frank here is that he's like a known and an unknown. You know what I mean, bro? In the sense that, like, he's a known in the sense that you know how he plays, you know what he likes to do and everything like that. But like, you know, the way, like, whenever I've watched at him, yeah, and I've seen him in interviews, he don't move me.
He doesn't move me, bro. Frankie,
And like, listen, and listen, I don't think a manager needs to move in interviews to be doing wonders. Like, you know, again, there's a lot of managers that you can look in history that they're shy in interviews, but you know, when they're doing their job on the pitch and everything like that, they're doing wonderful, right? I think again, Ancelotti is a good example of that. Again, Ancelotti is not really that great in interviews, but maybe like when he's with players, like he can actually see he has a bit more of, like, you know, that what's it called, that attitude and everything like that. But like, you know, I just don't know, man. I don't really see it in him. Like, you know, I think a good thing about Maresca, you know who, before you go, yeah, Maresca, at the very least, yeah, when I watched some of his interviews, bro, that brother was like, listen, I don't care if I lose. We're sticking with these tactics. That's what we're going to be maintaining. And that he was saying that at Leicester when he was losing games. And you know what? I was like, credit to him. That's credit where credit is due. But who are you saying that he kind of like reminds you of, my brother?
It's just like, it's similar to Potter in a way. A good coach.
Yes, thank you. That's a good point, actually. Yo, that's a good point, bro.
Because you know what it is, like, he gives me like Potter vibes in terms of like he's managing a mid-table club. He plays a good brand of football. He's got decent players playing at a very respectable level, yeah. And I just think I'm not saying bro, I ain't no psychologist or some body language expert. I'm just trying to like see in it like what he says, his personality. Like, United's not the move for him, you know. Like, I think that is too big for him. I don't think he has the personality. It's not because I'm not doubting him as a coach. I think Thomas Frank is a better coach than Ten Hag, but in terms of like whether he can handle the, I don't know, the
That's the one thing I always say, by the way, bro. Yeah, you know the thing about Ange, the reason why, yeah, the way Ange is moving right now and he's doing stuff right now is so effective in terms of like the way he's able to handle himself. The reason why I give him so much credit is because he was at Celtic, bro. Celtic's a big club. I know, obviously, the Scottish League's crap, but massive. Like Celtic it's a massive club. It's a massive club, bro. If he draws a game, they're onto this guy. The interview saying, "Why are you drawing against this team?" You know what I mean? What's going on? Is there something going on in the background? You know what I mean? He knows what pressure is actually like at the very least. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He has pressure. He understands what it's like already. So when it comes to like a big team like Spurs, That's why that's why, in my personal opinion, he's actually able to at least handle the situation a lot more better. In my personal opinion, I don't know about you, but like the thing about sometimes, bro, if you're too timid in your approach, in your behavior, if you're not like a natural guy that's like a bit of a shy guy, sometimes these big clubs will eat you up, bro. You know what I mean? Before you may have the tactics, you may have the know-how, but these clubs will eat you up, bro. The big
Look
six
what
clubs.
happened with Brendan when he went to a big club. Brendan Rodgers when he went to a big club. Leicester's his
Yep.
level. Leicester was his level. He tried the Liverpool thing, and yeah, cool. He was in a mini title race here, but bro, that's meaningless. Do you get it? So like with Thomas Frank, I think he's good. He's a good manager, good coach. I don't look at Thomas Frank and see he deserves to be at a bigger club. When I look at Ange manage Tottenham, I see now Ange should be at a bigger club, top 4 club at least. I don't get that vibes from Thomas Frank. I never got that with Graham Potter. I got it with De Zerbi. I don't know. I got it from De Zerbi, which is why I wanted them last season. Who else? Yeah, bro. I just think because you know what it is. If Ineos was smart, if they were smart, what they would do, is that they would sack him, give it to Root till the end of the season. See, because look, the way how Tottenham are playing right now and how it's going, if it carries on like this, I don't see Ange surviving. When I say surviving, I don't think he's going to stay at our club when it doesn't meet his ambition.
Bro, that game after Brighton, bro, he looked heartbroken, bro. You know what I mean? Yo, he looks like, he was like, you know what I mean? It felt like he was checking out, bro. I'll be honest. When I watched him that game, the thing is, as a lot of people say, Mota, for example, the problem Mota's locked up at Juve, bro. He's not leaving anytime soon. No, that's just like the sad real. I know a lot of people are saying maybe Ruben and Amorim. I think the thing is, Ruben Amorim's a good manager, but I don't think you guys want to play a back three style of play because that's where he likes to do. See,
Ange is my number one. He's number one. He's the because he is the guy that I would want to manage Man United, bro. He's got the perfect blend of both what you need. Perfect blend. Yeah, perfect. And he's managed already at a significantly decent club at Tottenham. He's managed them. And they've had Mourinho on Conte. Look how that turned out. So he is the guy. He's honestly the guy to improve these players. Can you imagine Ange with Kobe? And like that's what Kobe needs. Like that manager, like Diallo, that's who he needs. He's getting a tune out of Ben Johnson. Give that to Diallo. Diallo will start bagging goals. He will start improving him. Give him. Oh, it's annoying because I don't get paid to give my opinion, bro. Like you got people, like Radcliffe and that, and I'm hearing Tuchel on that, bro. I don't know, man. These lot, nah, man.
You know what it is, man. I just think for me, and I'll always say this again, is that I think for me, Ange would be the right guy for you guys. Let's move on actually slightly a bit more to Tuchel because I think that's a good thing to Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is not the right guy for you right now, bro. I'll be very real with you. Yeah. Thomas Tuchel's lost his management skills. He's another one like Mourinho who. He's tactically flexible. He has the ability to move around and stuff like that, bro. Yeah, but like right now, bro, he's just not tactically good enough.
He's not. No,
he's not, bro.
I agree.
No. Sorry. His management wise, he's not good enough anymore. Like he's
a good coach. He's a good coach, but he's not a good manager.
Yeah, bro. And listen, I will talk, bro. Again, bro. Yeah, I don't listen. At Chelsea, he was doing wonders in the first season and then in the second season, bro. But like when the new ownership came in, bro, when he was doing those crazy stuff, like that I heard about, like for example, you're either with us or you're against us. Like the whole squad, he asked the squad, who's with me and who's against me, bro. Yeah, and then like apparently half the team was against him, right? And then they stayed. Right, that was already set up a disaster. And then you look at what happened to him at Bayern Munich. His management skills and his ability to talk to the players, bro, was not good enough either, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So you bring him to United, bloody hell, mate. You know what I mean? That's just fireworks waiting to happen, bro. You know what I mean? That's like a recipe for disaster. You know what I mean? Waiting to happen. I don't know about you, bro. And it's like, for me, it's like, why are they taking this? I think this goes on to a bigger point of mine, which is in the summer, what was stopping them from bringing in a new manager? Why couldn't they not agree deals with maybe their potential candidates for the new manager for Ten Hag, right? And what is it that they're not willing to give away to allow that to take place?
I think what they're not willing to give away is power. in recruitment. Like in terms of like, I think a manager like Tuchel and De Zerbi, the guys that we were interviewing, they want power when it comes to I want this player, I want that player. Whereas I think with Ineos, yeah, they want that to be all done by them, because like I think that's what it is. I think it was just power, bro, genuinely. And also, I don't believe the whole money stuff, by the way. I think that money is all PR. Oh, we didn't have enough money to. I think that's bullshit, by the way. But yeah, I think it's power, and I don't know. I would only say it's power. That's the only thing I would say. And with Tuchel, yeah, Tuchel is a guy that you bring in when your squad is ready made, and if you want to win a champs, just to give it a go. You don't give a squad like United that need a whole new rebuild. When I say rebuild, yeah, I'm not talking about 5-season rebuild. I'm talking about coaching these players, yeah, from scratch. Like, you know, when a baby starts walking, you need to actually baby like them. That's what they need. Tuchel's not the guy to do that. What you think him winning an FA Cup with United and the Carabao Cup is going to satisfy me? But he's going to leave the club in a mess in 2 years, and he's going to get sacked. Have we not learned from Mourinho? Have we not learned from Ten Hag?
Exactly, bro.
Like this club, yeah. You know, Stockholm syndrome, by the way. I think that's what they've got. You know, that's what they've got. You know, when you're just obsessed with like toxicity, bro. I think that's what it is. I don't understand why people would want. People say, "Oh, he won a Champions League." Yeah, okay, cool. Mourinho won 2 Champions Leagues. Look how that turned out at United. How did that work out?
I think we need to realize you need to. You know what I'm gonna say, bro? Like, go ahead. I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish on this because you actually became to the point.
Because I was going to say, all the managers that are doing significantly well, right? I banter Arsenal a lot, yeah, but they're obviously always going to be in a title race, yeah. So Arsenal, Arteta, young and upcoming, yeah. Maresca, upcoming. He was in the Championship. He knows what he's doing. Motta, company's at Bayern Munich. What is this? You think, yeah, that just because I don't want Tuchel, or you don't want, bro? They literally got rid of him, yeah, to get company who got Burnley relegated. It's not about CVs anymore. It's not about CVs. That's all I was going to say. Yeah.
The reality is right now, I said this before, bro. You know, it's about you. And the way I actually put it to one of my guys is that it's not about how does the manager complement the team and the system that he plays. That's what it's about now, bro. That's what the name of the game is now. And I think the reality is, bro, the level of elite managers right now in the world is extremely limited, bro. Maybe 3 or 4, one hand you could probably pick up, right? So now it's not the new generation of trying to find that new up and coming manager. You see that companies doing somewhat well at Bayern, Chelsea with Maresca. That's why, by the way, I know a friend of mine who's a big fan of McKenna was saying that McKenna should have come into the team, in my personal opinion. Like he actually should have got McKenna. And you know what, bro? That's actually a good take.
Nah, McKenna, not McKenna. Now I don't want McKenna.
And do you know what else? McKenna, I actually think, bro, tactically, he's very similar to Ange. I think you would have gotten a good tune of your plays if you give it. And if the scouting department is as good as, you know, gets improved by Ineos, I think he could do a really good job.
Nah, you know why I don't want McKenna? Yeah, I don't want like people that I don't want McKenna. I don't want Carrick, and I don't want.
So you don't want. I think you're saying you just don't want to make sure they have no association with Man United. You want a guy that's like a clean break. I think you know what. That's also a fair point. You want a guy that's got a clean break. That's a good head coach. I can get with the players that is given to him and do a job, which I think is fair too.
That's all I want. I don't want any guy with any affiliation, which is why I do not want Ruud to get the full-time role. Give him the interim period, cool. Don't.
But is that not? Are you not worried though, bro? Like, let's say that they do like an Ollie with him, because I feel like that's very. Because like the thing is, obviously he's not been sacked yet, right? As we know of currently, maybe we find out tomorrow he's sacked or something crazy like that. But like, he's not been sacked yet. Obviously, and maybe if results go up tits, right, and they haven't been able to bring in someone, they bring up Van Nistelrooy, and Van Nistelrooy is able to galvanize a squad and make something happen. You know, you may be in a reality where Van Nistelrooy stays, and because he needs to have a choice because they gave him that interim role.
I think like the next appointment on what Ineos do is going to be the deciding factor on how they're going to pan out for the next 5 years in terms of their appointments. Like in terms, no, not their appointments, or in terms of how they want the club to shape. Because bro, if they if they keep Ten Hag, it means that they're not serious. If they get Tuchel, it means we've not really changed since the Glazers, bro. We've not really changed. We've not actually changed. There's nothing that's actually changed with this new ownership if those two things were to happen. And I know people are saying company is big up Dake, yeah, he's saying company is awful. Company is not awful. Like, the only reason why we're saying he's awful is because it's Vincent Kompany and he just started this coaching. But bro, the players that he's got and the way he's improving them and the style of play is really good. Like, they've just played against an unbeaten Leverkusen side, yeah, and they just dominated them. I know it was only a draw, but Kompany knows what he's doing. He might not be the guy yet to win them Champions League, but when Tuchel was with Bayern Munich, they needed someone to play good football, and because Bayern Munich were in a bad place, and Kompany's doing a decent job, so you just got to give it time with him, yeah, because he's got an identity, like he knows what he knows what he wants to do. Do you get it? And for me personally, you can replace with anyone, but the players need to fit his style of play, bro. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's the reason why we got so many players, and that's why they backed him so much. We don't know what his style. He doesn't have a style of play. That's the problem. You're giving him Ajax players, but his intention was never to play the Ajax way. Because if he really wanted to play the Ajax way, he would have done it in his first season.
I said this before, by the way, yeah. Those 2 games that he played where he lost, was it 1-0 or 4-0? Was it something like that? Where he lost like some crazy. I know he lost 4-1 to Brentford. Was the second. How many did he lose by the first game, by the way? Do you remember how many it was that he lost?
Last season?
No, you know, remember his first ever game for United. What was the scoreline for that one? I always
think it was like 4. I think it was like, was it like 3-0 or 4-0?
So it was 3-1. Yeah, so it's 3-1 against Brighton. Remember, because Brighton beat him, and then he lost 4-1 to was it called Brentford as well, if you remember, right? And so for me, those 2 games, yeah, and then the way that they were scrutinizing him, remember flipping. I don't know how Gary Neville and Carragher were coming to like what's your Carrington, yeah, and like actually like interviewing him about what's going wrong. I always have been saying, by the way, yeah, he changed his style after that, by the way, and since then he's never recovered, by the way. Like, he's actually scarred to play the Ajax way because of what happened to him back then. And for me, that for me, yeah, is a sign of cowardice, by the way. The fact that you're not willing to play your play because you're scared of what the media thinks, but like you're playing a worse style of play that's not winning you anything at all now.
Yeah. 100%, yeah. Like the way he just, the way how he just like completely abandoned everything that he believed in, yeah. Like the reason why we got him in the first place is because of what we saw. You know what? I actually used to think, yeah, how much was that Ajax football was down to Ten Hag, really? Was it really down to Ten Hag? Like, if you actually think about it, like, yeah, cool. He had Van der Sar, he had Overmars, and you know, like Ajax have always been playing that type of football since when LVG won the Champions League with them, because I remember he built the club as well. So like, we bang on about Ten Hag's style of play, but bro, is that really his football? Is that really his football? If I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we overrated that run in the Champions League. Like, he still lost to Tottenham when he had a lead. He lost to Tottenham. Like, cool, he beat Madrid, but bro, that Ajax team that he had, Frankie de Jong, Donny van der Beek, Hakim Ziyech, De Ligt, he had a very good team. It's not like he had scrubs or something. Like, he should have gone far in the Champions League. Like, he had a very good Ajax team. So I'm not trying to hear it like, oh.
I think the other argument you could make, and this argument I think which is very fair to make, is that Ten Hag also had a squad, in my personal opinion, that had like a whole generation of like both obviously there was like De Jong, or what's it called? Obviously De Ligt when he was actually really good and like he'd actually started to shine as well. That came out. Onana was really good for them. I don't know time when he come out, and so for me, a lot of those players clearly, helped at least into his perception. But I think the other thing is also Ajax have a set style of play that they've never changed from. They have the Cruyff way. It's literally the Cruyff way. Point blank period.
Yeah, Cruyff. Yeah, 100%. That's just like the Cruyff way and how they play football, isn't it? That's been instilled in them. It's been ingrained in them, bro. Like,
bro, it's ingrained in them in like their academy kids since they're like 4 or 5 years old when they start the academy, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. They all of their players, bro, are technical demons, bro. Point blank, if you know what I mean.
No, 100%. Like, that's and this is why, yeah, nobody can say. This is why, yeah, like if he was to walk or he was to get sacked, he cannot come out to the media and make any excuses. He has been given most of the Ajax players, and he's been given a very, very, he's enough time to make the changes. He's not made the changes. He's been given the players. You know, his whole back line is essentially Ajax. It's essentially
Exactly.
Ajax, bro. So what? So
Exactly.
how can you not play out from the back?
And you know what's
How can you
crazy,
not play?
bro? The guy. Look how even on the wings, he's got Amad Diallo now, bro. A guy that can play the Ajax style of play, bro. He can play that style of play, bro, because of how good and technical he is. You got Kobe
Even
Mine who can do
Sancho.
that for you.
Sancho could have played that.
Sancho could have played that. Xerxes flipping Dutch. You know, he's gonna be technically secure no matter what, bro.
Kobe.
Kobe could have played that for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, he's got guys there that can do that for you, bro. You've got guys there that can do that to you effectively at the end of the day.
Gallo as well, Mazraoui. Like, you've got players that can ball out. That's why I said, yeah. People say to me like, your squad's not that good. Cool. My squad might not be the best, but it's good enough to play very good football. There's a That's the difference, bro. I'm telling you, yeah. I look at I look at the barring Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool. There should be no excuses here why, respectfully, yeah, there should be no excuses why Liverpool and Chelsea are ahead of us, because those two are new managers that have just come in. Chelsea shouldn't be ahead of us. I'm talking about
realistically, we should not be ahead of us if Ten Hag had done the correct progression as a manager, the right amount of players. Like there literally should be no excuse in regards to that one at all.
Exactly, and then Toxic Attacks makes a good point about Ten Hag didn't get De Jong and says he can't play the Ajax way. Bro, you do realize that even if we did get De Jong, so you're telling me that
De Jong is not the only guy that can play the Ajax way. Again, guys, Ajax style of play is very simple, boys. You know what I mean? You just need technically secure players. If he had given this guy technically secure players, right, yeah, and everything like that, I think you more than enough would be all right. That's the issue.
He doesn't like that, Ahmed, he doesn't like that. You know what he likes? I
know what he likes, bro. Yeah, I know what he likes. Yeah. So that's the issue. I'm just making the point that for the Ajax system, bro, you just need guys that are just good enough on the ball, technically on the ball and off the ball. That's it. They can hold position. They know where to move around. And again, Ajax way is not that hard to train. It's very easy to train. Like they can train kids in that like this. So what do you think? What you telling me? Growing adults cannot know how to move like that in 2 seconds.
Bro, like, I actually want to answer this comment, yeah, because is he a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, bit to my guy E. He's a Chelsea fan. I think E is making a kind of.
Because I want to make a comparison with like the Chelsea. I just wanted to make a comparison, yeah. Obviously, yeah. Go on.
No, because I think E's point is valid. Like I said this before, I think your midfield. You know my thoughts on Ugarte. I think Casemiro. I think for me. I'm not too moved. I think for me, like, if you look at attacking wise, yeah, if Bruno's not providing anything for you in terms of goal wise, because that's what he can really provide, in my personal opinion, right? Your wingers, your wingers, I rate Diallo, but he hasn't got output yet. Maybe he gets output this season. Rashford, for me, I don't care what anyone says, he's kind of cooked, in my personal opinion, at this point. Like, there's no other way to put it. And Xerxes is not a goal scorer. And nor is Højlund right now. And these guys need to be developed, in my personal opinion. They need to continue the development process. And so, for me, it's like, if you look at the other teams' attacks, yours is not that high, I would say, in my personal opinion. But, like, how would you counteract that? Do you think there's a way for you to compete with the attacking squad to get into, like, a top 4 situation? I think that's the point, because that's the point that I think EE is trying to make in regards to...
Okay. When I look at, I like to use Chelsea as an example, right? Nicholas Jackson and Xerxes. Obviously, Jackson's better, right? Which he's played longer. He's played in the Premier League longer. He's got more credit in the bank, in a sense, here, because he's played in his first season. Xerxes and Nicholas Jackson. If you just forget about him playing at Chelsea, yeah, technically, yeah, you cannot tell me that he's clear of Xerxes on terms of pure level, because Nicholas Jackson ain't an amazing finisher, but what he gives you, barring finishing, is very good. He holds the ball really well. His first touch is good enough. He makes the right decision. That's literally Xerxes. His first touch is good. He holds the ball really well. His passing is good, and he gets involved in the game. Right now with Diallo, it's exactly the same thing. If Madueke can score hat tricks here, don't tell me Diallo cannot. Yeah, because Diallo is a better player than Madueke.
I'm not even
talking about form, yeah. Just quality.
But I'm actually what I'm gonna reply back to you is that for all of that may be true, right? The reality still remains, bro, that is he going to progress right now in the squad?
Who?
Diallo. With Ten Hag.
None of the technical players that I'm going to name you will ever develop. Xerxes, Kobe, Diallo, they're all finished in terms of how they are right now with Ten Hag. Do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
They're finished under him because his favourite attack is this: Højlund, Garnacho, Rashford. That's his front three. That's his favourite front three. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He never liked Sancho. He never liked Diallo. He never liked Xerxes. Xerxes not in his plans, by the way. Xerxes, he's not a first teamer. He's a backup. He's always been a backup. Højlund is his first team player. That's his number one striker. Yeah, that's his number one striker. Do you get it? So, I mean,
right?
Yeah, and you look at Sancho as an example. I know I always use it, and people get annoyed, but bro, look what Maresca's doing with Sancho. Look what he's doing with Sancho. Change.
I just think, I think the issue is, bro, can you not get the best out of your own players, bro? That's the one thing I always say, bro. You should be able to get the best out of your own players, and find ways to make that happen. The best managers find ways to make your players better.
They do.
Find ways to help your team out. And like that's the issue that I think that is relying upon when it comes to Ten Hag right now. And I think for me, the main issue as I'm speaking right now is that how he's still in the job, for me, shows a major incompetence from Manchester United. I don't know about you, bro. It just shows major incompetence.
They don't have the ruthlessness. They don't have it. They don't have the ruthlessness to get this club where it needs to. Because
the thing is, bro, I think at Chelsea, I look at Potter, for example, right? They realized with Potter they did that too late. They were too stubborn. You know what I mean? At least at Chelsea, there was an understanding. We were too stubborn. We know at least with Pochettino where we're going and how we're going to end the story. You know what I mean? We know where the story is going to get finished. But the problem for me is, has become, do these guys know where the story is finishing with Ten Hag? Because, and I said this before to you, but in the summer, you got rejected by some managers. You rejected some managers, and then there were managers that you could not come to agreements with. Can you realistically come back to them now in October, where some of them may be locked in with new contracts at other clubs? Some of them may be dissuaded by you because you rejected them previously, right? And then there's been others who may be demanding even more, than what they did initially, which you rejected. Are you going to be willing to accept that now? You know what I mean?
No.
And so you've run into a scenario of where can you even get the manager that you want?
I think like the manager market right now. Look, it might not be the best year, but bro, that's because there's definitely managers out there that we do not know that is upcoming. That's the job of the ownership and the scouting to do their job in it. Because there's always options in it now. Can the best manager should always get the best out of the players? 100%. I agree with you there. Now, I just wanted to answer that. He's saying United Ahmed has got to be honest with you. Diallo is 22 and only has 1 year. He's not a kid anymore. Look, it doesn't matter about his age. I'm not saying he's a kid. With Diallo, yeah, when I look at, he's still a young player. 22 ain't he's still got another 6 years, 5 years to even hit his prime year. So with Diallo, just because he's 22 doesn't mean he should be producing week in, week out here when he's not been given the minutes consistently under this manager, right? We've seen it many times. But if you look at Diallo as a player, the only thing that he essentially needs to improve on is output. And that comes with the right manager, with a good system, and with consistent game time. How do you expect a guy to get output 24/7 when you're in and out in the team? That makes no sense. If Diallo wasn't a good footballer and he was making some rash decisions and he was, passing when he should have shot or shooting where he should have passed, then I would understand and be like, yeah, that's got to go in it. But bro, he fundamentally, when you build a house and you have to have the base, Bro, Diallo has the base. He just needs the right guy to guide him to his skill sets. I promise you, that's all he needs. I'm so, if I get it wrong with Diallo, I'll put my hands up in it. But the reason why I was persistent with Sancho, people said he's going to flop. Yes, it's only been 3 games, but look at the difference. He's got Cucurella overlapping. He's making the right decisions. He's getting past, bro, he's getting past players. So, bro, people Saka's 23. Yeah, but you do realize, that Saka might be young he might be classed as young, but he's experienced in the Premier League. Do you get it? He's
I
experienced.
think the thing is, I think I'm gonna kind of back Ahmed here a little bit. Saka was playing the league since he's 19 years old, bro, and he's
Exactly.
been played on a consistent basis, bro. That's the
Yeah.
difference. The thing of Ahmad is that Ahmad went to Sunderland, then he went to Rangers, and then he went to United, and he's never really been given a chance at United, right? Even though I think at times there's been players that he's played against which he's had much better performances than,
Yeah.
and
100%.
you know, like, listen, I'm gonna listen. We've always been talking about an hour. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Thank you for being here. But like,
Of course,
I
man.
want to ask you. I've got two more questions really to ask you. The first question is, where do you realistically go from here? Because obviously, I know your next game is Brentford. Then it's Galatasaray, right? If I'm not mistaken, they've got after Brentford.
Brentford, yeah.
It's Brentford then Galatasaray, right? Is it
Yeah.
Brentford
No, it's
then
Fenerbahce. It's Fenerbahce. No, or is it?
Brentford then Fenerbahce? Then who's the team that you face after Brentford in the league?
I think
You know,
it's. I have no idea what the next 5 games. The next 5 games, I think it's. I don't know. Maybe chat can help us out in this one as well. I have no idea what the next fixtures are.
so your next fixtures, yeah, obviously Brentford, Fenerbahce, West Ham, then Leicester in the EFL Cup, and then Chelsea, and then you've got
That's
PAOK, which is a Greek team, and then obviously Leicester again in the league before the international break.
yeah.
Now, I look at something like this here, and I'm thinking tough fixtures ahead, bro. West Ham, I've kind of come back into form now, post Chelsea. You know what I mean? They've had that little bit of the what I like got clarity post Chelsea and decided to wake up, if that makes sense. And so for me personally, it becomes an issue of I think for me it becomes an issue of how long can he obviously remain? How long can he actually last? If that makes sense. You know what I
I'll
mean?
probably say I can't see him. I can't see him last until Christmas. Honestly speaking, I don't think he's going to last till Christmas. The fact that he's still here is embarrassing. I don't know what else needs to happen for them to pull the trigger. But if he's here still by December, then that is just you might as well just write off. The whole season is already a write off. But if he stays till December, then you can't go from anywhere. You can't go anywhere with that because what's there to look forward to? Like if we don't win the Europa League, we're not going to get top four. We're not going to get Europa League. We might not even get Conference League. There's nothing to look forward to if he remains till December. Do you get it? Because like I don't understand why it's crazy. It says so much about them. Yeah, if they're willing, if they know deep down that Ten Hag is not their guy, but they just want to make it work out because they might look stupid, bro. They're wasting the season. Wasting the season. Honestly, wasting it. And who knows what can happen in the season, bro? Like you might actually sneak in a top four. Like it's mathematically, it's not impossible yet. It's not impossible, but the longer they keep him, it's going to look more peak.
In my personal opinion, bro, there's a level of comfortability that's gonna happen, bro. Because if he lasts until November, because remember, November is the last, what's it called, the international break until February or March, if I'm not mistaken, bro. Right?
Yeah.
So if he's able to survive this then, and then you let him play until end of November, December, then January, and you continue to let him continue this form, bro, it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good at all. And again, that Fenerbahce game, by the way, big game for you guys.
Yeah.
Because if you don't qualify for that,
we're done.
Wow, you know what I mean, bro? It's looking spooky, bro.
No, I think Mazraoui's injured as well, and some of our players are
Oh yeah, that's what I want to talk about, bro. Mazraoui, bro, he has a heart condition, bro. I don't know. That's what you got checked for. Do you know how serious? And again, heart palpitations, and again, that's another thing, bro. I look at that and I'm thinking, did Bayern know something about this beforehand? And is this why you now brought him for the price you brought him at?
Probably.
And it becomes, and again, listen, obviously you have Eriksen already, who big up to him, bro, from coming back from what happened to him. You've now got Mazraoui. Listen, I think one of the things I always say at the end of the day, the aim of the game is obviously you want guys that are healthy. Eriksen can still do a job for you, but realistically, you can only do it for so long, obviously, with his condition. Probably Mazraoui is another one who's in a similar position where, yes, he's got that condition right now. Is he going to be able to play football for a high level for 90 minutes on a consistent basis? I don't think so either, right? So, again, you look at those sort of buys and you're thinking, was there any hindsight there? Was there any knowledge there? was that the right buy to even be making?
Bro, honestly, yeah, I can't. It's such a shame, yeah, because I think Mazraoui has been quite decent.
Mazraoui is a talented player, by the way, because like I agree with you, but you know this too. I think Mazraoui is very good technically on the ball. That's one thing I give him
He
credit
is.
for.
He is good on the ball, man, and
Mm,
the fact that he's got the heart thing, bro, it's actually quite upsetting in it because it's
yeah,
such a
bro.
shame. It's such a shame. Like I think Daley Blind has had something similar. Aguero had something similar as well.
And remember, Aguero stopped playing football because of it.
He stopped playing football, yeah, because I think he passed. I think he fell down on the ground in the Barcelona game, and he just had to retire. So with Mazraoui, yeah, essentially, we need another fullback. We need another fullback. Like as harsh as that might sound, yeah, but
You almost you basically almost gone back to square one again
square
in
one
that
again.
position.
And it's not his
And
fault. It's not his fault. It's not his fault, isn't it?
it's
Like
not his fault. You know what I mean? That's just life. That's just you know what I mean. That's just the way the game is. But like you know, I want to ask you this question. This will be the last question for the show. Where do you think? What do you think is going to be happening going forward now? Well, obviously, I asked you. You know, obviously, you know now if he doesn't get sacked, what's going on with him? But like, I want to ask you a question, bro. Where do you foresee where things are going? Like, obviously, if you were like if you had a crystal ball in front of you, Ahmed, you know, you are looking ahead at the end of the season. Where do you think everything's heading to currently?
I think everything's heading to an absolute catastrophe, bro. Honestly speaking, I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get worse, and I think Ineos, yeah, they might. I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't consider the full buy of United because of how much the fans might be pissed. Do you get it? I wouldn't even surprise me if they just walked away. So I don't see any positivity going forward. No positive, nothing positive. And as for footballing wise, I can't say anything positive about that. And I just see them. You know when also you know how when we were banning, AFTV back in the day. I think we're heading into that AFTV era. I think that's where we're heading. I think you can tell as well. We're at that Arsenal stage where everyone's bantering us, everyone's clipping us. It's gonna get even worse. Honestly, it's gonna get worse because we're screwed either way. If you think about it, if we lose, it's a win-win for the rivals. If we win, it keeps Ten Hag longer, so it's a win-win for the rivals. It's gonna get worse, and I can guarantee you, by the way, they will sack him. Yeah, when it's mathematically impossible to even get top four, they'll do it when it's really bad, and it's already really bad. So yeah, man, I don't see the only saving grace is Qataris, bro. That's it. That's the only saving grace. Sheikh Jassim, bro. That's the only hope I've got in it. Or us maybe getting a top manager, but. Yeah, man. With United these days, yeah, man, it's a struggle to watch them week in week out, man. Because
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. I hear it, man. But listen, where can they find you, Ahmed, before we leave, bro, my brother? Where can they find you?
right, listen, you can find me on AA United TV. Yeah.
Oh, check out his TikTok, man. He's got elite TikTok, man. Big up his TikTok, man. Big up, man.
Big up, man. Because listen, I do most of my content on TikTok anyway. You know.
Oh, by the way, it's looking like Saka's injured. By the way, I don't know if you saw this. He might actually look like he's actually injured this time.
That's crazy. Is he? Oh, wow.
That's a big blow, you know. That's it. Like obviously he came off the pitch. He wasn't looking so great. You know, it's not looking good for him, bro. I'll be honest.
Is it? Maybe it might be precautionary though, like because of like.
No. He literally was like. Apparently, the word on the street, it's not looking good, bro. It's looking like hamstring. Yeah, Neil gonna say that it's looking like hamstring.
Hamstring. Well, that's Sterling and Martinelli, then, isn't it? Sterling and Martinelli. This is Sterling's time to shine now. To see if he can do
time
it.
to shine, bro.
Yeah.
But listen, bro. Listen, it's not looking good for them. But like, you know, one thing I will say, you know, towards the end, I think with United, I'm gonna give Macros an argument slightly. Is that you know, I think for me, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But I feel like you've been almost in a banter era, bro. I feel like for a while now. You know what I mean? I know obviously Arsenal was outshining you guys in terms of the banter era, but like I feel like you've been in the banter era for a while. I feel like with Chelsea, and I've said this before, bro, we had our banter era almost last season. Like last season was our banter era essentially with Poch.
Yours doesn't last that long.
Yes, it didn't last. It didn't last that long. This season, obviously, if we lose some of the upcoming games, maybe you know we get some people who are acting a bit crazy. But like realistically, bro, there's not really a banter era at Chelsea right now, man.
It's not banter. I think the only time where Chelsea was laughing is when they had Lampard, and a bit of Potter and Pochettino. and that's
That season, the top season, bro. The top season.
yeah. It was literally that with United, like
Dark era, man. That was dark days. Funny enough, yeah, I always have this story. You can even check the VOD, the video for this, yeah. I remember I called into I think Flora, big up to my guy Flawless. Always you know what I mean, Sarcasm City, big up to him, make sure to follow him. You know, I remember I watched the Arsenal game in preseason that we played with Tuchel, and I knew then, I was like, yeah, we are gonna have a very bad season and we're gonna finish top. I knew then, and we finished top that season. So like, bro, unironically, sometimes, bro. But, and I always mention this, pre-season is a good example sometimes, yeah, to show you where things are going wrong. You know what I mean? Like when we were the way we were losing with the manager was not looking good. But listen, boys, go ahead, bro.
Do you think United won't be in the slumps for long then, or do you think it will get worse? Like,
you know what, bro? Because the issue is, yeah, the reason why our slump, yeah, unlike I think United, yeah, unlike Arsenal's, is not happening so quickly. You know what it was, bro? That season, yeah, afterwards, you know, in that January season, after the part season, then the summer season, we spent so much money, yeah, to sell a lot of these guys. We ended contracts. I don't think United is willing to end contracts. We did so much work here to make sure the deadwood was gone. Like we cleared the deadwood out by any means necessary, and the club was willing to take the hit on it. I don't think Ineos is willing to do that, right? In my personal opinion, right? So it's gonna take a bit more longer, much like how it did for us. So it's gonna take like maybe 2-3 seasons to get out the deadwood and stuff like that, and like exchange the squad, if that makes sense. And so for me personally, you guys probably might be in it for a season longer, maybe a season or two longer. I don't know about you. I think the logic dates that you probably be in it for another maybe season or two, and then things change.
Yeah, 2 to 3 seasons before it starts going back to decency. Yeah, I agree with you.
You have to hope, bro. But I think again, I always say the thing though is, yeah, if you get a competent manager that can see you through the transition and like build up his ethos with his new brand of players, I actually think the banter won't exist, if that makes sense. Because at the very least, you'll be winning games, you'll be looking pretty solid. Yeah, you may lose a game here and there, and like you might have the we finished. You know,
they do FSG with Klopp in it, bro. That's what they need to do. FSG might not be the best, but they just need to do. They got Klopp in it, which carried Liverpool. That's what we need to do, essentially.
You need to find your Klopp, bro. Definitely, for sure. But boys and girls, you know what shoot time it is. I've been your host, the Mr. Bruce T58, dedicated hearts. Obviously, you can find me here as always. Tomorrow, I might do I'm thinking about doing obviously maybe a career mode. You can or for FIFA. Make sure to tune in, of course, as always. Obviously, this is going to be going to my good friend Marshall, aka Casually FC. Make sure to say Madueke in, because like he doesn't like Madueke, so just tell him Madueke in. I'll be on there in a little bit. I'm gonna have some dinner before I go on there. But listen. Peace and blessings as always. Have a nice one and take care.